Welcome, everyone. Today, we're talking about how to talk to your pastor about walking with moms in need and how to get started at your parish. We know that our pastors are pulled in so many different directions, and it can be very intimidating for them to start a new ministry or even consider a new program. So, Chelsea, what are some things that we should do to prepare to talk to our pastors about potentially starting walking with moms in need?
That's a great question, Kat. I think you're absolutely right. Our pastors really do have a lot on their plates. And often it's not that they're opposed to starting something new, but they have to consider new projects amidst all their other responsibilities. We have to remember that he's only one person and there are only so many hours in the day. So before we talk to our pastors, it's important for us to take some time to really familiarize ourselves with walking with moms in need and what it entails. Your pastor is going to have questions, and it's going to be really helpful if you can anticipate some of those and plan for them and have answers to his questions and his concerns. That's going to give him more confidence in this ministry and once again help you have those answers right at your fingertips. So we encourage you to spend some time thinking about that and some questions he might ask, and to make sure once again that you're familiar with Walking with Moms in Need, the program, what it entails, what resources are available to you, and the general flow of the program. We also encourage you to connect with your diocese before talking to your pastor. It can also be really helpful to know what diocesan resources are available. If you have the support of your local bishop, it can be helpful to know if there are other parishes participating in the area. That's going to be something to share with him, that he can reach out to fellow pastors who are participating and to get their perspective. It's also going to show him that other people are doing this, perhaps that maybe we're not the first ones, which can also give him a greater comfortability moving forward. And most importantly, pray for his openness, pray for the Holy Spirit to really guide and work through your conversation, to open his heart to this opportunity, and to what the Lord may be asking your parish to do and to consider.
It's very helpful. What should we make sure to try to say in that meeting to make sure our pastors are at least more likely to be supportive?
Yeah, another great question. We hear so often a lot of times pastors' greatest concerns when considering a new project is often the financial commitment and the time required from him personally to get something like this off the ground. For Walking with Moms in Need, it's really helpful that we can say there is literally no financial commitment. It costs absolutely nothing to bring Walking with Moms to your parish and to implement it. All that's required is a handful of dedicated volunteers. All of the resources, all of the content is available for free download on our website. And once again, it relies on lay volunteer leadership. So there's also minimal time required from your pastor. Once he has decided on and appointed a trusted parish leader, he can really just let them run with it. Walking with Moms in Need is designed to be as easy as possible for pastors to say yes to. We want them to know that their parish leaders are being guided with appropriate materials that have been developed by the USCCB that once again walk your parish through this step by step. So I think those are really important things to emphasize in that initial conversation. The no financial commitment and minimal time from him. If he has the capacity and the desire to be more involved, we always welcome and support that. We love when that can happen. But otherwise, he can really be really involved in a general consulting and approval role and doesn't have to be a big drain on his time.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. It's so important to try to put our pastors at ease because, again, as you said, there are demands on their time. There are concerns about financial resources and personnel resources, other things. And really, walking with moms in need does not require what a lot of other ministries do. I know one other concern that a lot of people have brought up to us is that they're afraid to bring this to their pastor because maybe their pastor doesn't like to talk about abortion or has seemed uncomfortable with other pro life ministries in the past. And one amazing thing about Walking with Moms Need that I think can also answer that objection is that it's such a unifying ministry, right? It is something that actually really focuses especially just on service to women and children. I mean, the Walking with Moms in Need materials don't really go into abortion itself. It's much more about how can we serve those who are vulnerable? How can we help a woman who's in a challenging pregnancy? And so one really cool thing too is that Walking with Moms Need can answer that objection while also kind of providing a bit of a wedge, like an entryway in a parish to begin talking about the issues facing vulnerable pregnant women and what options actually serve them. And can be an opportunity for people to think about pregnancy and motherhood in a different way and get that pro-life conversation started at a parish. So I think that that's a really great thing that Walking with Moms Need can also do. But how can we respond to a pastor, Chelsea, that maybe is already doing pro-life ministry? Maybe they say we already have an active pro-life ministry, we don't need another one, or that we're already giving money to pregnancy care projects. What would you say to someone who had that perspective?
Yeah, we do hear this a lot sometimes because wonderfully the church does have some beautiful ministries out there already. We already have some incredible work being done by parish volunteers day in and day out. So I think it's really important for us to emphasize to our pastors that this is not meant to compete with or replace any ongoing efforts in the parish. Rather, Walking with Moms in Need was designed to enhance, to complement, and when appropriate, to expand the efforts to serve moms in need where they're already happening. So Walking with Moms in Need, once again, provides this new framework for us to really assess exactly what services the church is providing and what the gaps actually are. You know, the vision for Walking with Moms in Need that's guided us from day one is that we want any mother facing a challenging pregnancy or parenting in difficult circumstances to know that she can turn to her local Catholic parish and be connected with the resources and support that she needs. And the sad reality is many of our parishes right now are not equipped and are not ready to answer that call or that knock on their door of a mother in need. They're often unaware of the full spectrum of resources in their area. And even more frequently, there's not a presence in the parish to walk with and accompany that mother. Even if we do have a resource we can send her to, we often don't have a volunteer that can really, once again, walk with her on that journey. John Paul II challenged us in the Gospel of Life to assess what the church is doing at the diocesan, at the parish level, to support mothers and families. And so I do think it's really imperative that we take this honest look at how we can provide more comprehensive support and not just assume that it's being done elsewhere. Even if you have an incredibly active pro-life ministry, even if your parish maybe already does have some partnership with the pregnancy center or do a diaper drive, those are great things, and that's a great place to start. But Walking with Moms in Need gives us that opportunity to expand those programs, those ministries, those services that we're already doing, and to do them more effectively and to communicate them better to those who need to hear that message most.
Very true. So is there anything else that we really want to keep in mind when we're bringing this up to our pastor?
Yeah, I think something that sticks with me, one of the priests we work with closely said, you know, pastors have no shortage of good ideas. What they often lack is volunteers to fulfill those plans and those good ideas. So when you bring this to your pastor, it's really important the tone in the way that you approach this. It's easy for us to say the church should be doing this. The church needs to be doing more, or our parish should be, or you should be. And that's something we can easily fall into sometimes. But to step back and to be able to say, the church does need to be doing more. And I feel passionately about this, and I'm willing to help. I'm willing to take the lead. Father, I know you're very busy. I know you have a lot on your plate. I know how much our parish does. But I think this is an important role that we can fill. And I think this is something the Holy Spirit may be calling us to. And I'm willing to step into that role with your approval, with your guidance. So offer your help once again, and let him know that you're willing to take the lead, to organize volunteers, and to really provide that service in your parish community. And you're not just asking him to do it or to take on something else. I think that will really go a long way in your conversation and showing that you understand the challenges he's facing, so that he can be more receptive to what you're proposing.